So I saw that JD, a little coward, had to cower in hiding when he went skiing with his family in Sugarbush, Vermont. Because God forbid he actually meet with the people protesting him, who are pretty pissed off that he decided to defend a fascist dictator over somebody fighting for their own country's survival in Zelinsky. But that's JD. You know, I debated him on NPR about a decade ago when he said he had to hold his nose and vote for Hillary Clinton. That Donald Trump was, quote, cultural heroin for his people.
And so one of the takeaways is not just that the Republican Party base is somehow fundamentally flawed in a way that's unique in American political history. It's that Trump is a really bad candidate and, frankly, I think a really bad person.
That was, of course, before JD decided he wanted to get elected to higher office and actually had a fake foundation that literally sent farmer reps up into the mountains to try to recruit people for that actual non-cultural heroin or opioids of sorts. But I digress. So many people spent so much time on Donald Trump when J.D. Vance, this utter little prick, this guy with no experience, this little dweeb, looks like he was shoved in lockers in high school, you know, makes up stories about his life. Folks, he's not from Appalachia. And no, he was not part of the underclass. There's clearly stories out there about how his family was making over $100,000 a year. He's a liar. He's changed his name 5 times. Who does that? Who but weird, insecure little incel dweebs? But what a pathetic loser. And now we're all having to see it on a national stage when this little dweeb who tried to impress Donald Trump has the arrogance to sit there and talk to a George Washington-like figure in Zelensky the way he did.
What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you are
Mr.
not
President,
strong...
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the President for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military?
We have problems.
And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems, even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future.
A man who could have run away from his country, hidden out, could have gone somewhere and made bundles of money the way JD took that education of his at Yale and ran straight to the West Coast to get together with thugs like Peter Thiel and Mark Andreessen and pocket as much money as he could. He didn't use that to go back and help his community. He just pocketed all the money and then wrote a fake story about his upbringing and his background. How utterly sad and pathetic. And now the world cannot stand us. We're literally like part of the Axis powers.
In this
Even
entire meeting,
today,
have you said thank
even
you?
today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you can...
He's not speaking loudly. He's not speaking loudly. Your country is in big trouble.
Can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No. You've done a lot of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not winning.
I know.
You're not winning this.
I
You have a damn good chance of coming out okay because of us.
Mr. President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet,
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this cabinet.
We gave you, through
I
this
said
stupid
thank
president, $350 billion.
You voted
we gave
for
you
your
military equipment,
You
and you
voted
men
for
are
your
brave,
president.
but they had to use our military.
So what about West
if
people?
you didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me-
equipment,
you invited
if
me
you
to
didn't
speak.
have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3 days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
And yet Donald Trump's embarrassing and horrible. So many people covered him. J.D. Vance sat there. Was he 39? His little gnomish beard, trying to give him some gravitas he's never had, as he sits and he encourages the kind of racism his half-Indian kids will suffer from, and lectures a country that's been attacked and a man who traveled here from a country where he's seen atrocities against his people. All J.D. Vance has ever seen is the venture capital money coming out in the West Coast. But he didn't move back here to Cincinnati to fake like he was an Ohioan. By the way, of course, he lives in a really nice area here too, where the people were protesting him the other day. Maybe we'll get over there later today. But, you know, he's never gone out and been among the people. He wouldn't lower himself to that. He's too good for us, JD. Well, I think there's a lot of regret now on the MAGA side. They know what they signed up for now. They know what little punks they put in office. And they even know that Donald Trump, their lizard king, won't even endorse JD as his heir apparent. Because that's how pathetic JD is.
Do you view Vice President J.D. Vance as your successor, the Republican nominee in 2028?
No, but he's very capable.
That's how much he sold out his soul from a time when he said he'd hold his nose and vote for Hillary over Donald Trump because Trump was so dangerous and, quote, America's Hitler. Well, he got that part right. He just didn't realize at the time he was pretty happy to be America's Eichmann. We see you, JD. We see you here in Cincinnati. They saw you up in Sugarbush. They see you in D.C. We know what a fraud you are. And we're going to fight you every step of the way, you son of a bitch, before you trade away our country to Russia and China and every other fascist that will load your little greedy pockets. Despicable.